And now we are joined over the phone by Ambassador Raouf Saad, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, so sir, how does Egypt's condemnation of Netanyahu's Greater Israel statements align with its long-standing support for the Palestinian question?
Well, ma'am, due to time limits, I'll be very much focused because I will not focus on the specific words or the specific question. I mean, you just mentioned condemnation. Well, before I comment, well, let's put it this way: I'm a bit intrigued by what the media is calling illusions or disillusions, all right, of Benjamin Netanyahu to create the Greater Israel. Well, let's be clear, because that's something has to be politically corrected. It's not an illusion. It's not a disillusion. It's an old racist, barbaric agenda which existed since the establishment of Israel, and it has been kept in the drawers till the right moment will come. And Netanyahu thinks that the moment has come. All right. Condemning, deploring, rejecting, whatever you call it. All right, that's good, and it's good that now we are witnessing growing pressures, not only by regional groups, but by the integration of a number of regional Arab, Islamic, whatever organizations, using the same vocabulary, the condemning, rejecting, accusing, and I fully agree with that, and I agree that, that this is a higher level of pressure. But you have to put the equation in two sides. One is, that this, what we call disillusioned movement or development by Netanyahu, not only an old agenda, but it's being implemented over the past 2 years and a half, all right? Yes. And he's wiping Gaza, he's wiping the people, and he is on contact with several countries in order to, implement his agenda of migrating the Palestinians and, evacuating Gaza and maybe later on West Bank, whatever. So you have to put a kind of equalizing levels between your position and their position. In other words, they are in full action and you are in full rejection. I call upon, through you, right, with the simple man, Raouf Saad, I'm just calling for a global uprising. It's not a war, it's not a military action, but, we'll have to sit down. We have the power, we have the ability, and in order to design a new global action, let me remind you before the time is coming up. In the war of 1967, what the African has done, they have cut, all of them, the 52 African countries have cut the relationship with Israel. All right, that was the real act, a sanction that applied and isolated Israel completely, and led to the success of of having a resolution in 1967 242 in order to that is applying the withdrawal of Israel and and from all the territories, whatever, no matter what happened later on. But I'm just giving an example that we can. We have the African, we have the Arab levels of pressures, regions. We have the government, we have the civil society, we have the private sector. Not only in the Arab and African regions, not only in the Islamic countries, but even all over the world. The situation globally has changed dramatically, at least on the level of grassroots. Plus, there is a new phenomenal position from a number of European countries to recognize, the Palestinian state. So we are in a situation we cannot, we should race against time. They are racing against time in order to destroy the Palestinian issues. And we are racing against time in order to rescue the Palestinian issue. And here, I think I want just to conclude by one word. I mean, everybody's doing everything, and once they feel either unable or fail or whatever, they throw all their burdens on the shoulders of Egypt. And now, one of them is what we are seeing. It's a disgusting, satanic alliance between the Muslim brothers and the fundamentalists from Israel. We are in a situation, it's very critical, but we can. And so that's why, again, it's not a disillusion, it's a plan, it's being implemented, and they successfully have to implement it. We have to agree, we have to admit to that. So I call for a global, we are approaching the General Assembly of the United Nations, and we will witness, the acknowledgement and recognition by a number of foreign countries of the Palestinian state. This could be a moment of a new beginning of a global movement in order to upgrade, our position by using and investing in the powers we have, whether in governments, whether in resources, whether in the grassroots, whatever, in order to just corner Israel in a spot where it will be accountable to its own people. Because even I'm adding here that we should even invite the peace groups in Israel. They have peace groups in Israel. They are rejecting and condemning as well, the Netanyahu's practices. The moment is crucial. It's historic. And I think, no matter what you do, as I said before with you maybe, that, it's a moment of action. We can make it, we can design it in a very calculated political manner. We are not asking for war, but even with peaceful means, we can bring an end to this terrible, disgusting plan of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes, so Ambassador Raouf, also today Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati held a phone call with the German counterpart, and the two top diplomats stressed the rejection of starvation policy of the Palestinian people, and they also affirmed Egypt's rejection to directives to expand the military operations in Gaza Strip and settlements in the occupied West Bank in its endeavors to strengthen control over the Palestinian territories. How do you read the European countries' stance towards what's going on in Gaza?
Before I read the European or a German, this is a German, not a European, although there is a kind of increasing common position among Europeans. But I appreciate very much the efforts being done by Minister Abdelati, because that would add to the pressure, right? But, well, that's, as I was saying, now when it comes from Germany, this is a very big, significant message. Because, the Germans are very sensitive and very cautious in dealing with Israel, and we know the history. But when they are crossing this kind of restricting line and, agreeing, but all right. Now, as I said, that would tell us that the moment is right. And, because, okay, they fine, phone call, we agree, we don't accept, we reject. Okay, so what? So what? What kind of action? Can the Germans, go to the General Assembly and recognize? We should encourage them. And of course, they are a little bit less conservative in taking a stronger position, supported, encouraged by the unacceptable and barbaric practices of Benjamin Netanyahu and his group, and supported by the increasing European positive position regarding, against the Israeli practice. But we have the moment we have to formulate and design a subtle, well-calculated politically and socially, regionally and globally on a plan that will take steps within a time frame all right, in order to maximize, you know, this kind of pressure and bringing this pressure to a level of sanctions. And this is something we can do it, but not by condemnation, not by declarations, not by phone calls.
So, sir, how is Egypt balancing its role as a mediator with its firm rejection of Israeli policies in Gaza and the West Bank?
You remember, ma'am, either you or your colleague, I don't, with all due respect, Egypt is not a mediator.
Yes.
Egypt is a principal party, because a mediator should be neutral, and Egypt is not neutral, and Egypt is fully involved. But you know, I think history will put it's a very special position on its record. You know, Egypt's policy over the past 3 years, since the 7th of October, and because, you know, Egypt is in a process where the political leadership is designing minute by minute, you know, what kind of action should be done. And in every decision, whether a small or big, right, the calculation is how, first of all, how maintain the Egyptian interest, how to maintain the national security, the Egyptian national security. The three is how to continue in charge. I underline, Egypt is in charge. That's why it's not a mediator. Egypt is in charge in a full agenda in order to rescue the Palestinian issue from being liquidated, from wiping the Palestinian people and sending them over, over the planet. All right, just there is a process now is being, you know, in order to sell the Palestinian people. Really, this is what's happening. We have to qualify words as they stand, right? So Egypt is taking this with a very, very critical, very crucial, very difficult, very complicated process of balance, checks and balances on every and each decision, on every moment, because things are changing. And they see the facts that Egypt, you know, should not reach the moment of finding it, that it's the only country that is really effective. I mean, and here I want to distinguish between effectiveness and, you know, performance.
Yes.
Right. The effectiveness lies here in the land of Egypt, right? But sometimes it gets support. But now this is not enough. As I said, we are racing against time. Egypt sees that very clearly, and it's maximizing, accelerating, amalgamating, you know, upgrading all its contexts. And many of them are unknown to the people.
Yes.
You know, it's the only way to do it is to do it in a certain manner.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Raouf Saad, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you, sir, for being with us.